I bookmarked this article last year and I could not really find it. I could reference what was said at the time, but it was interesting because there had been glimpses of the industry going where it is that many people had not taken into account. In fact, let me give you a much more glaring example. Piscatella yesterday, or according to this video posted, I don't know if it was recorded yesterday on the Games Business with Christopher Dring and Matt Piscatella, he said and mentioned, bringing your games to other platforms is how you're going to win. In the comment section, I had one person, or he had one person that said, the quote on the icon is such a bad take. It almost sounds like an Xbox executive wrote it. Riddle me how Nintendo is such a success then. Riddle me why PlayStation is such a success. And why Xbox isn't while it used to be. What's funny is this person has skipped out on the fact that PlayStation has no or almost no exclusives, if you think about it. And when people basically asked them and said, yo, timed exclusives are not exclusives, there's no answer, because many people allow for their deaf ears to take precedence, over the reality. In this particular article that Hazardor Gaming post that he, basically reposted from PC Gamer, Tim Sweeney is cited to have said a number of things. He says the games industry is undergoing a generational change, says Epic Games CEO. A lot of games are released with high budgets and they're not selling. When you continue to read, at the time, October of last year, Sweeney says in this address in Unreal Fest that while there's still uncertainty about what exactly the metaverse is, the continuing growth of Fortnite and the failure of a number of high-profile big-budget games to meet expectations is proof that it represents the future of gaming. Are you listening? This is somebody whom, or if they were talking about, say, what gaming is going to look like, I think I would be interested in listening, because Epic Games is at the forefront of both the gamer side in terms of saturation and the developer side as well. Giving Unreal Engine, they're able to see a lot. They're able to learn a lot. Having Fortnite, they're able to see a lot. They're able to learn a lot. And their game, Fortnite, is simply a behemoth. Let me show you how insane Fortnite is. Fortnite hit new records in concurrency, Sweeney said during his opening comments, achieving an all-time peak of 110 monthly active users over the previous holiday season. An accomplishment, he said, comes amidst a generational change in the games industry. What is PlayStation's total MAU? PlayStation's total MAU is 124 million monthly active users. Do you see how this person's comment is absolutely divorced from the reality? Because if one game literally has a significant percentage, right? If one game has a significant percentage of all of your monthly active users, I think you might be cooked if you think that you're going to make a game exclusive that's going to somehow pull people away from the ecosystems that they already are participating in, on which Fortnite is its own ecosystem. Yes, it's now become a platform. Call of Duty is a platform. I think what Minecraft is missing is that Roblox connection. That's why Roblox, I think, is going to pretty much continue to outpace Minecraft in many metrics. If they can get Minecraft, but Minecraft also has that renegade thing too. Go make your server and all that craziness on the PC side. But if they can find a way to get these devices to come together like a Fortnite, like a Minecraft thing, it's going to basically be untouchable. And games like GTA are going to basically continue to stay behind it, which is wild. That GTA has sold 250 million copies, right? Or units at some point in time when the metric was put out there. But then there are games that are literally just sitting there on charts year in, year out, year in, year out. And I don't know if anybody thinks that this trend is going to somehow change anytime soon, because the generation of gamers that are playing these games, they've moved on from the traditional console business as a legacy of playing games. It's just a means to an end for them. It's not the end all be all. It's not, oh, I can't wait to get off school. The bell rings. Oh man, I got to jump on the bus. Or mom's got to come pick me up. Oh man, and when mom comes and gets me, I'm going to run home. And oh man, after doing my homework, then I'm going to play video games. My dude, They just raise their hand in the classroom and say, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And they jam out to their favorite video games while they're taking a dump. It's insane how the world has changed, and many people still continue to lock in. How do you think that one game has this many monthly active users when majority of the gamers are in a very interesting place? Mobile is a huge piece of the Fortnite pie. Even though PlayStation may have a high percentage and PC probably the second highest, you then have the others that can get in on that ecosystem. One of the manifestations of that change we're seeing right now, according to Sweeney, is that a lot of games are released with high budgets and they're not selling nearly as well as expected, Sweeney said, whereas other games are going incredibly strong. What we're seeing is a real trend where players are gravitating towards the really big games where they can play with more of their friends. If you strongly believe, and this is where I think that Spider-Man live service, I think that was a big critical error in not launching that game. But again, that game's budget scaled like foolishly. I strongly believe Marvel Spider-Man 2 could have been a Miles Morales layer story. Quality of Miles Morales is impeccable because that game benefited from all the wins of Spider-Man 2018. And I thought it was going to be the framework for Marvel Spider-Man 2, but they wasted all that time doing that traversal stuff. I'm just thinking to myself, you could have invested so much money in creating yourself a community-based Spider-Man game. Launch that PvP. I said PvP. Launch that PvE. The raids and all that stuff. Launch that bad boy a year into it or 6 months into it. But that's one thing about live service, you know. Got to launch it with everybody they want to kind of get that boost. But throw it all there on PC. If you don't want to put it on Xbox, that's your business. I think you would have gotten a Helldivers level reaction on that kind of a thing because now you have continuity in the Spider-Man space. But nobody asked me. The perceived value of a game, he continued. That's why they want to do the X-Men game according to their leaks. It's going to pretty much be like that. The perceived value of a game, he continued, grows in proportion to the number of your friends that you can connect to for everything from playing games together to chatting by voice. This is why PlayStation is going to be in a very interesting spot. Should they continue with that X-Men game to not put it on Xbox and other platforms? And I'll explain. Watching virtual concerts or doing other kinds of cool virtual things online. Some people will call it the metaverse, Sweeney said, and we're not all in agreement on what this means. Some people, when they hear the word metaverse, they think of what Facebook is doing with VR and now AR. Some people use the metaverse to describe everything they don't like about the current Fortnite season. Regardless of what you think, the moment-to-moment state of Fortnite, though, it's new and it's exciting and it's something that's never happened at the scale in the history of entertainment, Sweeney said. The evolving story and the ongoing live content updates are obviously a huge part of that, but he attributed more of Fortnite's success to all the world's brands participating and dropping in. Musicians reaching users, Disney and Star Wars, and all coming together to create world-class entertainment experience that's ever evolving and live. That's really what we think the future of gaming is about. I'm among those who raise an eyebrow whenever the topic of the metaverse comes up, but I won't argue Sweeney's point. This writer says, 7 years after Fortnite's first launch, it remains an absolute juggernaut, and the biggest brands in entertainment are still lining up to get in. On the other hand of the coin, Sweeney's mention of a slump among some big-budget standalone releases seems on point. Suicide Squad, Final Fantasy XVI, Starfield, which did well, but in relation to that, it's a drop in the bucket. And most pointedly, Outlaws have been let down to some extent, and even though they all carry the branding Sweeney is so enthusiastic about. Starfield should have been a co-op game. Space exploration with everybody on all that stuff. That's my thinking. But Todd probably wasn't thinking that far ahead. He already had Elder Scrolls Online, which is a solid proposition, by the way. I think that game can basically, has benefited many, many years, but RPG fans, they're scattered everywhere with WoW and Diablo and all that stuff. So there probably needs to be kind of a huge nerd world building kind of thing that comes in with Starfield. Starfield probably needs another rejuvenation in a sense where they boost some kind of an offshoot with that co-op aspect to it. Branding, marketing, and stuff if they want another live service game. But, Xbox already has a number of live service games. So I don't necessarily see if they're going to be interested in doing it, especially with the budget of the game. But by and large, ladies and gentlemen, exclusivity is so dead. I don't understand how anybody can think that this is a valid proposition, or that somewhere, somehow, PlayStation is going to remain profitable in keeping their games on their platforms now that they're chasing MAUs and Fortnite's right behind them. Where are they going to get the remaining MAUs from to grow? Xbox or mobile. But they don't really make those kinds of games at this moment in time. And if they were to move their games to Nintendo, that basically also, if they were to move more of their games, that still says that, you know, we're in the business of putting our games in other platforms, which they've been doing all this while, and they still keep doing, even though there are people who continue to deny this reality. Thank you for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. I really appreciate your time and audience. Peace out.